How do you stay grounded when she's pressing every button and saying the exact things that she knows will cut you to the core? How do you stay calm and just not blow up? Honestly, who could blame you for defending yourself after some of the things that she says to you? But here's the truth. Your ability to stay grounded in the face of her emotional storms is the single most important skill to keep her respecting, loving, and admiring you. And I was reminded of this at a dinner with 2 clients here in San Diego, okay? One of the clients just won his girlfriend back. Huge win. It was really cool to see this, like meet these guys in person. Maybe I can meet you in person. But he leaned in and he said, Josh, can I give you some feedback on the course? I was like, okay, sure. I actually like feedback, but he goes, look, you helped me with my girlfriend back and I'm deeply appreciative of that. I just want to let you know, when you tell guys to stop being emotional or stop getting reactive, it's like telling a guy who's insecure to just be confident. It's not that easy. And you know what? I took that in and he was right. After a decade of teaching this, some things I forget are just too obvious to me, right? Because I've learned this for so long, I've taught it for so long. It's the curse of knowledge. So if you find yourself getting triggered or emotional and you're unsure how to stay grounded when she tests you, this video will give you the exact playbook to become calm and confident, essentially untouchable in the matter of the storm. This will give you the ability to consistently meet her biggest need that draws her back in, making her feel emotionally safe with you. Now, first, I will lay out why you and her get so emotionally triggered in the first place, giving you the clarity by understanding the source of the conflict cycle. And then I'm gonna teach you how to become the anchor to her shore, being unmoved and unaffected by anything she says. Yes, anything. This makes her start to trust you again. And then finally, I will give you the most powerful technique I bring to my clients that immediately helps them calm down in the face of her anger. So let's start with this first principle. You can't be right and be happy. Georgia was infuriated with Ricky. She said, how come you have an excuse for everything? Can't you just own things like a man? Those are pretty harsh words, I'm not gonna lie, going after his masculinity, but she did have a point, which I'll share later on what her point was. But for now, just know that Ricky was a high-powered lawyer and he never left his work at home. Everything that she said in the 14 years of their marriage that didn't align with the way he saw things, it was like, okay, here's a case that I have to win. And he won the majority of his life in everything, extremely competitive. So why would he turn that off with his wife? Well, this brings up the ego intimacy paradox, in that you cannot be right, you cannot esteem yourself with your ego in moments of conflict and also be happy and connected to her. It just never works. Check out this clip where Dr. Pearson talks about it.
You cannot win an argument with your husband. And he can't win a husband can't win an argument with his wife. Not unless he wants to defeat her, in which case...
he defeats himself.
Well, he lives with a defeated woman. Like, well, seriously.
I thought he was going to go so deep with it.
Well, what good is that going to be? That's not helpful.
And you guys are one. So if you defeat her, you defeat yourself.
Well, not least because now you're living with someone who's defeated and bitter. It's not helpful. You can't win an argument.
Essentially, when you guys are in conflict with each other, you guys are going back and forth with each other. Let's say that you finally want to prove her right. She's going to go down, right? Her box is going to go down. You're going to raise yours up. And now there's this dynamic where you're right, you were better. You have proved her wrong. And now there's disconnect. Now there's a wall. You cannot literally connect when you are separate from each other. This is why women are always right, because there is no game to actually play when it comes to logic in conflict, in communication, intimacy, okay? The idea of logic is separate from emotional connection. I'll expand on this as we continue. Now, before we continue, I want to lay out a huge caveat. A lot of men hear this and they take it the wrong way. They think they have to lay down and take it from their wife. That doesn't mean that at all. There is a way to still maintain respect, to esteem yourself, to hold your boundaries and your values, and to own your own perspective while still simultaneously not trying to prove her wrong. Okay, that's what I want to teach you. The reason why a lot of men struggle with this is because they try to maintain respect through defensiveness, through logic. And I call them the 3 Ds, okay, that are in the whole cycle of conflict. The first D is to defend yourself. It's saying things like, well, I only said that because you said, or saying things like, well, if you just listen to me first. Now, the reason this doesn't work is because you are going into a competitive frame versus a collaborative frame. The competitive frame has you versus her, that she is the problem and you have to prove her wrong, okay? That there's a winner and then there's a loser. Whereas the collaborative frame is that you guys, the presupposition, the mental frame you're putting on is that, oh my God, this woman is one flesh with me. She is my team member, okay? And the problem is separate from us, okay? Even when you speak to her, speaking to her directly like this, versus you sit up next to her, okay? Shoulder to shoulder, and she probably won't let you touch you. Sometimes I get that, but you sit, if you can, kind of sit on an angle from her. And when you're talking about the problem, this is from NLP, put your hands up, be like, this problem that we have right here, this thing that's going through, instead of saying you, and she won't get more defensive. Right? You're externalizing the problem. You're taking responsibility for your own behavior. What you're thinking ultimately is that there's this external virus or this problem or this situation that we have to figure out together as a team. I mean, that autocorrects all the rest of the D's, but I'll still go into the other two. The second D is deflection. Now with defensiveness, it's kind of attacking her, but deflection, it's just doing anything to kind of move the problem outside of yourself, to be the victim in everything. It's saying things like, well, you did that to me a week ago or last month or whenever. You do the same thing to me. Right? You're trying to deflect and trying to essentially act like a child. Look, I've done it too, okay? But that is a childlike response. And the third D is to dominate. Now, this is a form of using logic. It was also Ricky's favorite tool to use with Georgia. It's kind of like cross-examining her. You're looking for flaws in her logic. Well, if you just saw things the way I saw it, then you would understand and you would feel how I feel and it would be okay. This is why women love to use the term gaslighting so much, is because this is a form of it. Gaslighting to them, or what it essentially is that you were trying to show the other person that if they just adopted your perspective, they wouldn't feel the way that they feel, like their emotions wouldn't be there, the problem would be gone. Here's a problem that a lot of men face, especially successful men and intelligent men like Ricky, is that I know this is like the ego's biggest trap. She is not you, okay? She has different experiences, she has different problems, she has different talents, she's a different person. That's a beautiful thing. But she has her own unique flaws just like you do, right? There are situations and problems that you have that she doesn't have. Does she lord that over you? Hope not. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you ever feel like she should meet you at your level when it comes to certain things, that she should, it's a sign of maturity if she were to see it the way you see it. As much as that may be logically true, how does it make her feel? It makes her feel like you're on your high horse, right? And no one wants to be with someone like that, okay? Like I said, just like trying to prove her wrong, when you try to put yourself up, okay, when you're trying to dominate logically, it's dismissing her, it's making her feel stupid, okay? And do you want to be with someone where you look down on them? I mean, hope not. So in order for you to get out of these 3 Ds and not make them a habitual cycle of your communication patterns that just lead to more conflict, the first step is to have awareness around your emotions. Joseph Campbell once said, "Nevertheless, every failure to come with a life situation must be laid in the end to a restriction of consciousness." Now this can be interpreted in many ways. It's from his book, Hero with 1,000 Faces, really good. I read it the other day and it really stuck out to me that all of your problems with your ability, I mean, this is just with business, with any relationship, with anything that you want in life, it comes to your inability to perceive it a certain way, right? That all internal perceptions and values create your external life that you have. So what does this look like with her? Well, when Georgia said, "Can you own everything like a man?" what I told you earlier, Ricky fully didn't know why she said that or why she was feeling the way she was feeling. You see, Georgia grew up with a father that didn't protect her from being abused by a neighbor, okay? When her father found out, he never even spoke about it to the neighbor, to her, to even Georgia, like anyone. It was just brushed under the rug. Now this taught Georgia as a young girl that a man in your life can never really fully protect you. Georgia put up a wall for the longest time until she met Ricky. And he was the first man she honestly felt really safe with to bring down those walls. And the day she fell in love with him, something happened that was so small. They were all out at dinner with friends. And Georgia was arguing, okay, of all things, about how we don't have free will. Now she knew Ricky believed that we do have free will, but Georgia was arguing with one of Ricky's friends about this concept. Now you can clearly tell she was losing the debate by how other people were giving attention, and you could tell just in the energy of the room, okay, in front of everyone. But without missing a beat, Ricky stepped in and made his case for Georgia and left his friend speechless. He protected her in that moment, even though it went against what he actually believed. And that's all she wanted. So fast forward now, why did Georgia say that to Ricky? Well, earlier that night, they had gotten into an argument with Georgia's sister at a family dinner. Georgia felt attacked and misunderstood, but this time, instead of standing by her side like he used to do, Ricky stayed silent. And when he finally spoke, he actually argued for his sister's point to try to show her that she was in the wrong. Now, he didn't mean this maliciously, of course he didn't. He thought he was being fair and logical, just trying to get his wife to see a different perspective to connect with his sister, okay? But to Georgia, it wasn't about who was right. It was about feeling protected. And Ricky had just shown her that when push came to shove, he wouldn't choose her anymore. That moment cracked something open inside of her. It dragged up every buried fear she had. And this is not logical, by the way, but no man would ever truly stand for her when it mattered. That eventually, she would always be left alone to fight her own battles. So when she said, "How come you have an excuse for everything? Can you just own this like a man would?" It wasn't just about that dinner moment, okay? It was about the terrifying feeling that one man she trusted to have her back, that one guy, had become just like all the others. She wasn't lashing out to hurt him. She was lashing out because she felt abandoned. And if Ricky didn't understand that, if he stayed focused on defending himself instead of seeing her pain, he would keep losing the very woman he once saved. So how does Ricky stay calm to create that connection? Well, let me give you 3 powerful visuals that I've often used for myself and with the clients I work one-on-one with. Now, I would say out of all the skills that you must master in order to really be effective at winning your back, I would say this skill is the one I'm best at. And the reason why that is because I used to suck at being able to control my emotions. I had anger issues. I was one of those guys where I would, be calm and have a lot of patience, then I would just explode. And I put my fair share of holes in walls when I was a teenager. And I'm not proud to say that. I think more than anything, the one thing that really helped me the most to be able to stay calm was working with people in parole with anger management issues and having to work with full rooms of guys who were prisoners, like 50 men, sitting in a circle, and I was commanding the whole room when I was like 23. So anyways, let me teach you 3 powerful skills that you can use moving forward with her to keep your calm and to be able to maintain the respect and trust that you need to make her feel safe. The first one is an analogy, the shore to the ocean. In your masculine, I want you to imagine that you were the shore and she is the ocean. Now, sometimes when the ocean is calm and soothing, it can brush against the shore and caress it and be loving and soft, and it sounds amazing, but when the winds of change naturally come, as they always will, that emotion, that raw energy will smash into the shore. And as the man, you remain stable. You do not break, you do not react, you do not yell, you do not run away. Now again, there's a caveat with abuse, which I have a whole video on boundaries on the channel if you want to check that out. But essentially, if she's just expressing her raw emotion, there is no desire to fix. So the next time she's in her emotional storms, I want you to say to yourself, in your head, I am the shore, I am stable, I am calm. And I want you to visualize yourself holding a container, say the word stable, confident, calm in your head. These things do help. Because if you go by your default nature, your reactivity, right? Your old pattern you learned as a child, you're gonna go into your defending, you're running away, or you're reacting and yelling back at her. For the second one, I have a really good friend who's an NLP master practitioner. I did a session with him a while ago where I was dealing with conflict with someone really close to me, and their words really cut me deep. And the visualization he gave me was to imagine that I had this force field. If you don't know what NLP is, it stands for neuro-linguistic programming. One of the techniques they use is to visualize certain things, because images are a lot more powerful to evoke certain emotions. And so he had me essentially visualize myself just putting up a force field. And whenever those words would come at me, they would just stop right in front of the force field. They wouldn't penetrate me, they wouldn't touch me. And I would just see them, the words that he was saying that were hurting me, okay? And I wouldn't let them affect me. And I would also use this visualization, and it was actually really powerful. I want you to try it the next time someone is upset with you or saying certain things to you. You can put it up this wall, and you're still having empathy for their situation. This doesn't make you cold or robotic. But there's 2 types of empathy. There's emotional empathy, and then there's cognitive empathy. And studies show from multiple books on the subject and studies that in order to connect with someone, you don't need emotional empathy. Emotional empathy is feeling the emotions they feel. In fact, it makes you less effective as a husband, as a therapist, or whatever it is. Cognitive empathy is understanding, oh, I felt like they felt. I felt anger before. I felt sadness or mistrust or betrayal, whatever it is. I've experienced those emotions. I understand how they feel, and I can reflect that back to them. But I'm not going to be swept away by my own emotions. The third one is I want you to become the conflict samurai. Now, if you didn't know, samurai were, the way they viewed battle was, it was an opportunity, right? It was a grounds to show their honor, to prove their worth to their family. They embraced battle. They embraced pain. They embraced suffering because it allowed them to hone their skills, okay? And what most men are essentially doing, when she's conflictual with you, she can intuitively sense by the way you speak to her, your affect, these micro nonverbal behaviors, that you're just trying to like, okay, just stop, just get rid of these emotions. I cannot accept you for how you are right now. Please just go away. You're too much. You're being too much for me right now. I need my peace, okay? As much as I understand that as a fellow man, okay, I understand that you just want her to make you happy. You just want, why can't she just be happy? In the feminine, we experience a range of emotions, and it is healthy to be integrated and whole, to experience every emotion that you have. And you were told through social conditioning not to experience certain emotions. As an example, when others get angry, I still get kind of triggered. Okay, my partner would do this all the time. She would get angry, and I would use all the things that I'm telling you not to do. I would logicize, I would dominate, I would defend, I would deflect. I would use every D, okay? That's because, as you know from my own personal experience, I repressed my own anger until it exploded, okay? So I wasn't comfortable with that emotion. But if you could say to yourself the next time, through your own inner narrative, I want this. I want her to feel this way. It's okay for you to feel this way. Now, this cannot be used as a technique or a tactic. It has to be genuine. I want you to fully embrace and tell yourself, she can feel this way as long as she wants. I am telling you, this is magic. If you genuinely get to a place where you allow her to feel those emotions and you're okay with it, they go away faster. And to prove this works, I know most of you have children. I mean, the next time your children are emotional, I want you to tell them, hey, you're sad right now, you're angry, you can feel this way as long as you want to. And better yet, tell that to yourself, right? Don't distract yourself with work, emails, television, whatever it is, whatever emotion you're experiencing right now. After this video is over, after you comment, after you like, after you set up a call with our team by clicking the link down below, a free call if you're fully committed to saving your marriage, what I want you to do is I want you to sit with yourself for just 5 minutes, okay? I don't care where you are, what you're doing. Sit with yourself for 5 minutes and allow whatever is to come, let it come. Don't try to think about it, don't try to judge it. Allow the emotion to move through you. Emotion stands for energy in motion. And so I want you to embrace it and allow it to happen. And that's what builds your own self-worth, is this integration process, okay? Again, if you need more help, click the link down below. Check out this video on the ERM method. It is a very powerful video. If you haven't seen it so far, I definitely guarantee it'll change the way you see this whole entire journey. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.